talking to you.
What?
You wake up in the morning, you say, I put on my big boy pants. Look, I'm wearing a belt. I got big boy pants on.
Oh, here at Online Big Blue, we always have our big boy pants on. This is Tim's New York Giants Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. Want to talk about episode 2 of It's a Hard Knock Life for the Giants. Episode 2 was not as riveting as episode 1. This was more of, I like to refer to as a building character episode. In other words, you are trying to build a connection with Joe Schoen and his staff by making them more humanized. It's an old media trick, one that does work sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't work. But there were some key components in this episode that I thought were kind of interesting. Maybe a little telling about how this franchise thinks at times. Maybe a little telling about Joe Schoen's personality. The more and more I watch this, the more and more I dislike Joe Schoen. The more and more I worry about how he speaks about certain things in reference to the marketplace and the salary cap and positions and certain things. And the phrase always is, boy, we really misread that. You evidently misread a lot, Joe. And that is concerning. And you have something in your mind, and you will not be swayed. And you could tell that by the way he speaks about a certain player, Saquon Barkley. And people forget about Xavier McKinney. That he had it in his mind he wasn't bringing these guys back. And no matter what his coaching staff said, no matter what his scout said, no matter what his assistant general manager said, he was not going to do it because he felt it's right to go with Daniel Jones. That's plain and simple. And you saw the precursor conversations with the Patriots about moving up to 3. And how the Patriots basically came out and said, yeah, you know what, we've already had this conversation with a couple teams already. So, I mean, maybe we'll get in a little bit more involved. That he was more involved in trying to get that 3rd pick, but really it just seems like it was opening conversations. And the whole thing's about Saquon Barkley. Certain things about Saquon Barkley starting to bug me. Excuse me. But I wanted to point one thing out when they were talking about quarterbacks. When his coaching staff brought up quarterbacks and excuse me, not coach, the scouts, and they were talking about J.J. McCarthy has all this and he did all this and he did all that, but you may want to just check this, and then how Drake May did this and this and this, but I have no problem with his football IQ or any of this. And then there was just one quarterback that they discussed, and the first thing they brought up was, well, you need to talk to him about his football recall. Because we don't think he's got good football recall skills. Now, a lot of times people will sit there and say that the Giants occasionally, or that some people think that the Giants are an inherently racist organization when it comes to the African-American quarterback. But I do find it interesting that the only quarterback that we saw that they discussed about football acclimate and football recall was Jayden Daniels. I'm just throwing that out there. The quarterback that out of all of them had the most success in college is the one that they are most concerned about in reference to his football recall skills. And I'm just saying there's you have 3 and there's something different between one of the 3. I'm just throwing it out there. That just cracked me up for a minute. That he's the only one they had to worry about his football. You may want to question his football recall skills. Oh, and Dable went after him about it. And I understand that because he's the head coach. He's trying to figure out if he's got a quarterback. But I thought that was interesting. Malik, we're going to Saquon Barkley in a second, but Malik Neighbors, man. All I know is you better get Malik Neighbors the ball. Because if things go bad, things go poorly, if he is getting 6 targets a game or 4 targets a game and he feels like he's not involved.
My professional opinion that now is the time to panic.
Because this kid looks like he's going to be a little truculent. He is going to be a little Rod Tidwell. He looks like he will go to the media. He will complain. He will voice his displeasure. He will let you know that he is not happy. They moved on from Odell Beckham because they felt that his personality was going to overshadow the rookie quarterback. that big personality. And Daniel Jones' personality has not changed. Daniel Jones' persona has not changed in 6 years. And now you're bringing in a guy that, to me, seems like he's going to have more of an issue not getting the ball. He wants to flourish. He wants to thrive. He wants to excel. He wants to be a top wide receiver in the NFL. He wants to...
You can't keep me cooped up in here, okay? I am a peacock. You gotta let me fly.
He wants to fly. And if Daniel Jones is not getting the ball, he is not going to be quiet. He will not go quietly in the night. He will not go out without a fight. He will move. He won't move on. Oh, it's good. You know what's funny? It's just sometimes when you go and get that big talent and you go and get that guy that is that big personality, it can be bad at times. When it's going well, same with Odell Beckham. When it went well with Odell, everyone loved him. Everyone loved Odell. Everyone loved the antics. Everyone loved him marrying the net. Everyone loved all that stuff. But the minute you started losing, things started going bad, and then the wheels just fell off the bus. So you're going to come in here with a rookie. You're gonna come in a rookie who...
This is gonna take Cracker Jack timing, Wang. Total concentration. You ready, Jack? I was born ready.
In Malik Neighbors' mind, he was born ready to go out there and play football. And if he's not gonna get the ball, oh Lord have mercy, baby, it's gonna get ugly. Saquon Barkley. I've seen so many idiots on Twitter. And people are like, Tim, why haven't you been making videos and content? Because there's really nothing to talk about. What do you want me to do? Just make shit up? I mean, I could. I've seen some of the headlines. I've seen some of the videos that people are putting out. I can make up better shit than that. But I think it's a disservice to the people that follow the channel and follow the Giants just to make garbage up, just to make some money. Because I've never been in this to make money. If I was, I would probably do this channel a whole lot fucking different. But for Joe Shane, it's not when Saquon Barkley, I think it's a revisionistic history in his mind about things that he has done. He made a comment when he was talking to the NFL, press or the NFL communications people. And they were talking about Saquon Barkley, and he goes, hey, listen, I offered Saquon Barkley a whole bunch of money 2 years ago. He just didn't want to take it. You offered Saquon Barkley a contract where only the first year was guaranteed. So basically, he would be playing like he was on the cap. I mean, not on the cap. Not on the cap. Of course, he's on the cap. He's playing like he's on the franchise tag because you only guaranteed year one and half of year two. You could sit there and tell you it was a $36 million contract, but only a year and a half of it was guaranteed. And I'm not even sure half of it. I'm not even sure the others. I don't think it was even the full half on the second year that was guaranteed. This was the year that they tagged him. So I sit there and I think to myself, Joe, what the fuck are you talking about? And then he comes back and he's talking to Saquon's agent, and Saquon's agent asked him point blank, you're in your room at night. Do you want this guy back or not? Or you just want to see him leave? And he's like, well, I'm torn. No, you know what you want. You gave $160 million to a below average quarterback. You are going to ride and die with this guy and Daniel Jones until you are proven completely wrong or fired next year. And I believe you're going to get fired next year. People are going to be like, well, I'm going to clip this, Tim, because you said Joe Shane's going to get fired. If he doesn't get fired, you're going to look stupid. Well, I look stupider for less. And I always tell people, if that's really what you need to do in life, you need to go get one. But at this point in time, he point blank asked him that question. And he, like I said, I'm torn. You're not torn. And he goes, well, he was a good part of our offense. No, he was your offense the last 2 years the 2 years you've been here. You don't make the playoffs 2 years ago without Saquon Barkley. You could have made the playoffs 2 years ago without Daniel Jones. You don't make the playoffs 2 years ago without Saquon Barkley. And again, you totally misread the market. You're like, well, let him go out there and find his value. And then once he finds his value and find out there's no value there for a 27-year-old running back who played behind a terrible offensive line, who's had a terrible quarterback and still rushed for 3,000-yard seasons. There'll be no market for that asshole. Yeah, Philadelphia said, here, hold my beer. It's just the misguidedness at times what you watch with Joe Shane. It really is. And it kind of ticks you off a little bit because, you know, hindsight, of course, is always 20/20. But you just watch and you're just like, he's so confident in what he's saying, but he's been wrong almost every time. You could be confident, you could be cocky. They say I'm cocky, and I say, what? I ain't bragging, motherfucker, if you back it up. But the problem is you got to back it up, and the problem is you got to be right. And Joe Shane does not have a track record or a history of being right. And you know.
What I got to say you really don't want to hear, because honesty ain't too high up on your people priority list, right?
Honesty? You want honesty?
So I'm just giving you honesty, guys. I'm just giving you honesty from my perspective. This Hard Knocks never does the team that's on any favors. And it's not doing the Giants any favors. At times, it's making the Giants look a little weird, a little strange, a little disconnected. That's so many things but the problem is this. I think Joe's biggest issue is he's not listening to the people around him. I'm not saying he needs to take their opinion. I'm not saying he needs to take their advice, but you brought these guys in, so you should value their opinion. It's like someone gives him an opinion and he's like, oh, okay, thank you. Well, I'm just going to do what I want anyways. Because you already have it in your mind what you want to do, Joe. And like I said, this would be a different conversation if things that you did have actually worked out. I've said it before. It's time to get rid of the kiddie corp. It's time to bring in some professionals. I always love it because Family Guy did remakes of like Star Wars, like the movies, and they remade the first one. And there's the scene where Princess Leia, who's Lois, is talking about blowing up the Death Star and how they have to go through this trench, shoot the thing in the hole. And one of the pilots looks around because they're all like, "What the fuck is she talking about?" One of the pilot looks around and goes, "Excuse me, is there someone like maybe in the military we could talk to?" And sometimes I think that with Joe Shane is like, is there an adult we could talk to? Is there somebody else that we could talk to here in this room that may know what the fuck he's doing? Because I'm getting more and more concerned every day. Oh, make sure as always make sure you subscribe, make sure you ring that bell, because you want to know why. That'd be awesome.